Hi there, thanks for sticking with me. This is part 4 of our trip to the Indian Ocean and, in particular, Christmas Island. I've called this one Tropic Birds and a Skink. Christmas Island comprises an area of only 135 square kilometers, but is home to about 290 endemic animal and plant species. About 65% of the island is protected in a national park. Now, there are two types of tropic birds on Christmas Island. It might sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I'm a very amateur twitcher. Our marvelous guide, though, was able to ignite an interest in me by his passion for the seabirds on and around this island. Nick Dunlop is a citizen science program coordinator for the Conservation Council of Western Australia. He led our small group on the second day to the coral platforms on the northwest coast of the island. If you take a look at the map of Christmas Island, it bears a strong resemblance to a dog in shape. We were spending the morning behind the dog's right ear. Nick gave one of the evening talks which gave us a good understanding of the 9 existing seabirds on the island and their habitats and threats. No amount of talking or reading in anticipation of this trip, and I did lots, can prepare you for the sight of a cuddly tropic bird chick. The red-tailed tropic bird chick was not happy to be flicked from its nest and pecked wildly at Nick and anyone else in range. But it's a lucky one. In 2006, the mortality rate for these chicks was found to be about 90%. Only 1,400 breeding pairs remain on the island. The catastrophic situation was brought about by predation from introduced rodents, cats, and lately ants. Happily, the rodents have been eradicated and the cats are being brought under control by an ingenious but simple baiting program. The yellow crazy ants, though, are a persistent and difficult problem. In the 1990s, a few projects were initiated to boost the flagging economy of Christmas Island and replace the shrinking phosphate mining operations. A casino and a satellite launching base were mooted. The latter didn't get too far when the rocket launch market collapsed. The casino resort idea, supported by the Keating government, however, showed promise as a haven for gamblers who fancied a flutter on the tables. The high rollers were expected to come from Asia, especially Indonesia. The casino made a good start and had a turnover of $12 billion in the first 2 years. The Indonesian money supply dried up and the casino ceased operation in 1997, leaving the resort with few patrons. When we visited hoping to order a coffee after a morning in the jungle, we were told that it was closed for lunch. No wonder there were few patrons, I thought. By this time, I was on the way to extinction myself. We had to content ourselves with a stroll around the resort gardens and look at the swimming pool. Lo and behold, a truly wonderful sight met us there, as we watched dozens of frigate birds swooping in to drink from the pool. They are such acrobats, barely missing one another as they dived and picked up beakful after beakful of water. Magic. The final venue for the day was the Reptile Research Centre, which was a very sad affair. They're doing great work with endangered species, but the outlook for some is dire. The centre has the only remaining specimens of blue-tailed skinks and Lister's geckos in their glass enclosures. Both creatures are doing well in captivity, but became extinct in the wild in the last 5 years. Introduced species are thought to be responsible. Again, the yellow crazy ant and the Asian wolf snake. But saddest of all is the forest skink. It is certainly extinct in the wild, but there's one specimen at the Reptile Centre. She is a female and sits alone in a glass enclosure. How awful is that? I felt like I was looking at the thylacine in that Tasmanian zoo 80 years ago. She has no mate. She is the last of the species, and she is doomed. So another poor creature is added to the long list of extinctions that includes the Christmas Island pipistrelle bat, extinct in 2009, the Christmas Island shrew. This was the only Australian shrew and was last seen in 1985. For more on the fate of Australian animals on Christmas Island, I can hardly recommend Dr. Tim Lowe's article, 50 Years of Extinction, in the spring 2013 edition of Wildlife Australia. I'm sorry to end on such a sad note. So sad.